Hi, my name is Maude Leger, and I'm on a mission to empower realtors with cutting edge insights, success stories, and actionable strategies for the top minds in real estate. Welcome back to Sold Right Away. And in this episode series, we solve real estate marketing challenges in real time, unlocking modern marketing success for real estate industry. That's why today we brought on Peter Howell on the episode. Peter is a broker at Royal LePage and has a lot to share, lots of successes, challenges, and experience to share and mentor other realtors. Welcome. It's great to see you.
Thank you. I wanted to just let you know that on May 8th last week, I celebrated my 38th anniversary with Royal LePage.
Excellent. Congrats. That's awesome. Is that when you started in real estate 38 years ago?
No, actually, 10 years before that, I started with a local independent realtor.
Amazing. So you're 48 years in real estate as of
Yes.
this month. Tell us a little bit, like how did you become a realtor? A little bit of your background there.
Well, that's a great question. I had been 5 years at U of T studying, and I pretty well have had it to here with university at that time. I wanted to go on and take my master's, and one of my sisters thought I'd be an excellent teacher. She was a teacher. She thought, go and get your teacher's certificate. My other sister was a realtor. And she said, why don't you come into real estate for a year, earn some money, buy a car, then go back and get your master's? Well, that was 48 years
You
ago.
never went back.
Never went back, no. So it's been good. It's been very good.
So I guess when you started, your plan was to be in real estate for a year. What was a defining moment for you that you decided, I'm going to stick around?
I found that in my first year, I believe I sold 12 homes, which I thought that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
My second year, I sold 24.
That's doubling.
Right. So that encouraged me to believe that I could do this. And so I went on to become a real estate broker in 1980. And so I could have technically opened my own office, but I never wanted that liability. But it enabled me to learn more. And I then could use that for my clients' benefits.
And then you joined Royal LePage.
I joined in 86, and then in 88, I became a broker manager of one of the offices with Royal LePage. And then in 89, the market took a tremendous crash. And then into the early 90s, Royal LePage finally said, Peter, you're in one of our 3 company-owned offices, and we need to sell. We need to liquidate. And so I was given a choice as to when I wanted to close the office. And finally, after 2 months of just aggravating feeling, oh my gosh, we have to close. Nobody knows it. It's all in my head. I finally announced to the staff. And then I went and joined the original office I'd been with Royal LePage, and the rest is history.
Yeah. What was your best year like?
For a number of years, I would average 52 sales a year. And it wasn't one a week. That's not quite how it worked. No.
It's like one a week, but it's not how that
It's
works.
not. And so that went on for just over 10 years. I was at that rate. I'm not at 52 right now. I'm doing well, but not at 52.
Yeah, you have to slow down at some point.
Yes. Can I tell you a bit about my first sale?
Absolutely.
It was in Southeast Oakville. It was in January of 1976. I truly was just licensed into the real estate board. I was hosting an open house on the Saturday and Sunday at this property. And on the Saturday, a Volkswagen Beetle pulled up outside of the property. Not necessarily the newest version. And a couple got out, and they were dressed in their ski jackets and blue jeans and winter boots. And they came up to the house, and no one else was at the open house at that time. So I thought, okay, I'm going to show them around. And we were together for about an hour. And I showed them all the different aspects of the home and told them the mechanics of the home and how it was built and who built it. And they thanked me very much and left. On Sunday, a very beautiful Mercedes-Benz pulled up curbside, and a couple got out, and she was wearing a lovely dress and a fur coat, and he was dressed in a suit. It was the same couple. And they came into the house and came up to me at the desk and said, we'd like to buy this house. So Mr. and Mrs. Hamilton were my very first sale. They bought the home for $276,000. I've done some background, and unfortunately, I was not their realtor, but they sold their home in 2019 for $2.15 million. And then in 2023, the neighboring home sold for $4.15 million.
So that gives us a ratio of how expensive the home was at 276 back then.
It was a big one. I'm sorry I wasn't there for the Hamiltons when they went to move. That connection broke down over the years. That was when I was new in real estate. I wasn't doing the things I learned how to do later to maintain that contact.
So I guess that gives us a big lessons for realtors on not to judge people.
Well, my father always said to me, never judge a book by its cover. and I didn't. And I told my father about it. He says, Peter, that's why you made the sale.
Yeah, you give them the time.
Didn't judge them. That's right.
That's amazing. First year in real estate to today.
Yes. Could I go back there? I don't know. In 1988, I was a director of the local real estate board. And as a result, we would be invited to other board functions. My wife and I attended the Toronto Real Estate's President's Ball, where the incoming board of directors were being introduced. And while at the very beginning, the MC was introducing dignitaries and special guests and other people who were in the audience. And he then at one point said, I'd like to ask a woman to please stand up. And he gave the name. He knew she was there. And she stood up and he said, I'd just like everyone to know that she is 94 years of age and is still practicing real estate. Well, my wife, who is a physiotherapist in rehab medicine, she started a standing ovation. And then next he talked about another person in the audience who we asked to stand up, and that gentleman did. And the MC said, I'd just like everyone to know this particular agent has now been in the industry for 50 years. I looked to my wife and I said, there's no way.
Look at you now.
2 years it will be.
2 more years, and then you'll be the one with the standing ovation.
I've tried to look back and sort of find out when did I learn to do things in a more organized manner. So in 2008, I was attending a Buffini & Company Turning Point event in Toronto, and it's where they try and acquire more clients to be coached by their company. And I was being encouraged by a number of my colleagues to jump in and do it. And so I did, and I was coached for 10 years by Buffini & Company, and they taught me a lot of very good things. How to take care of your personal finances was a really big one. They also taught me that one of the best ways to maintain contact and build future business is to do pop-bys, telephone calls, and personal handwritten notes. And you usually do 5 of each, and you rotate it. So 1 week, 1 month, you're calling these people, or you're visiting these, or you're writing these, and then you switch it up. So the next month you're doing a different group with the same thing. And I also made a habit or a point of bringing a pop-by gift. You may recognize what I'm referring to. And I would go down to Niagara-on-the-Lake, and I'd go to Greaves Jams, and I'd buy the little sampler jars. And I'd buy 96 of them. And I'd buy strawberry and raspberry. And I would always put them in a little red bag with some paper. And I'd take it up. It always had something in my hand going to the door. One of the families, the sons, they called me the Jam Man.
The Jam Man.
I've now sort of progressed from that. I've visited a sugar bush very close to where my daughter and son-in-law live. And so now I'm buying very, very good syrup. And I'm giving out either jam or maple syrup, depending on the time of the year. And then I made up little cards that go along with it saying, raspberry jam is my real estate. I've really enjoyed it. I do want to continue with it, but I also want to reinvent myself. And hence, Maude, I'm speaking with you.
Why we're here today. I was going to ask you a few questions too, like what is the key to your success? Would that be the nurturing your clients on a yearly basis and following that process?
Yes. There's 2 types of realtors. There's transactional realtors and there's relational realtors. And I'm a relational realtor.
Yeah. Building relationships.
And maintaining it.
And maintaining them. The one thing that you would say that you learned throughout your business career that made you successful, is it the nurturing that brought you the success?
Yes. And it enabled me to create many what I call family trees.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about those family trees.
And there's a lot of my clients who they have become family trees. And by that, I mean to say that my original client, one of them has purchased through me or sold through me at least 7 properties over time. I have sold for their daughter and son-in-law twice. I've sold for a brother. I've sold for a niece and nephew. It goes on. I think there's probably about 8 layers of this tree. And that's what I try to do with a lot of my clients. So if it's either I'm representing a daughter or a son or a parent or the original client themselves. And if you lose contact, you lose them. And as the children get older, where maybe they're in their late 30s and early 40s, they've developed relationships with realtors independent of me. And before you know it, they're telling mom and dad, well, here's who you should be working with. And mom and dad don't want to upset the son or daughter, so they honor their request. I want to get that back. So I need to let people know I'm still here.
And in marketing, there's always challenges. And I feel people not knowing that you're still in business maybe, or thinking you're retired because you've been in the business for so long. Or we talked about also if their parents retired, they assume you retired as well. So now in terms of marketing, how do you get around that?
Yes. So as we've discussed, I want to create some videos. I want to meet with some of my clients for testimonials. I want to share what I do in the office with my coffee talk, where I'm paying forward my experience to anywhere from 30 to 40 people every 2 weeks. Those coffee talks can be on very specific topics that are key to the market right now. They could be on, hey, Peter, back in 1989, the market crashed. Are we going through a similar thing now? And so I'm having to delve back into my treasure trove of memories to try and do a comparison for them. I had a very interesting coffee talk about a month and a half ago. I brought in a lot of different paraphernalia, different items that were used in real estate in the 70s and 80s. The little tear sheet that was maybe 4 by 6 inches, and that was the MLS information sheet. It had a black and white photo on it, one, no other. There's no internet. There's no other way of finding it. And then it had the details about the home. And so they say, well, how did you know about the house? How did you know what it looked like? I said, that's simple. You went to the realtor open house and you got to know your colleagues and you got to know the house. That was our pictorial way of looking at the home. And I said, we didn't have smartphones. We didn't have anything like that. We didn't have pagers. So if someone called me, I don't have voicemail on my phone because they didn't have such a thing on your home phone. So if I wasn't there, I wouldn't answer. But I didn't know they called. So they might try calling again the next day or maybe the next day. Or I finally do call them back. So we're bouncing all over the place. It might take a week to finally make contact with someone. But it was accepted. That's just the way it was. It's unlike today, if you don't return that call in 5 seconds,
They're moved on. They went somewhere else already.
Yeah, instantaneous reaction. That's right. So I love it in my phone. I have the little scripts that you can send if you're in the car or whatever, and you automatically touch it. I'll be back to you in a moment.
Yeah. Systems, right? Putting up systems to keep up with the times and what's going on. Nice.
So I'm looking forward to these new social media items, videos.
Yes.
I want people to know I'm here.
Yeah. I think as a marketing challenge, fixing that perception issue from the daughters and the younger of your clients to keep in touch with them, having the video. But also I say, if you do videos, there's no point on doing videos unless you're actually using them, having a purpose for them. So we talked about the purpose strategy behind your videos. What's it going to be about? The testimonials, and also, like you talk, your coffee talks where you're mentoring other realtors. It's important to show that you're an expert, and that's what's going to come up out of these.
That's the goal. Yes.
Yeah. And then how you're going to send it to them and how you're going to use those links and those tactics to help with your door knocking, your phone calls, and your nurturing.
It's a great point because a lot of people are a little hesitant to open up links in their emails.
Yes.
You don't know who's sending them. Is it really Peter that's sending this? And so I want to have the handwritten wedding invitation sized cards that will have the information to go to that link that I sent you by email, but I wanted to also give it to you in writing so you knew it was from me. And by the way, I'm going to be in touch with you later to see what you thought.
Yeah, very good. Very good follow-up. And then you can do the link and then also a QR code. Put a QR code people can scan and watch the videos so they know it's a real thing. It's not a spam or a phishing email.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
It's exciting.
So what are examples of marketing that you've done throughout the years that worked really well and some maybe that didn't work so well?
When I was with Buffini and Company, they had a very good CRM. And within the CRM, they had a lot of templates that you could modify. And I used those on a regular monthly basis to send out to my client database. And there could be anywhere from my 50 or 51 A-plus clients who might get one particular piece from me. There could be my 282 other total ABC clients who receive another piece from me. I continued with that post-Buffini days, and now I'm sending out marketing reports. So what I would like to do, and this is part of what I want to work with on you, is I would like to create the basis of the template where it has some very interesting local information about what's coming up in the next month or two that they may be interested in. So you're not just giving them stats, you're not just telling them what's sold on their street.
Use a resource, something that they can keep and keep referring to, something of value to them.
Exactly. Oakville has an excellent system for doing that. I'm uncertain whether Mississauga does, and I'm checking into Burlington right now. But I walked into one of the local stores in downtown Oakville, and there was a QR code. And so I put my camera on it, and it opened up what are the events that are going on in Oakville right now.
Love it.
It's run by the town of Oakville. Someone in their system creates it. So it's continually being refreshed as events change.
Yeah, and it's the same QR code. You just keep scanning it, but then it brings you the newest event. So we'll do the same with your videos.
There you go.
Oh, very cool. I do have questions. I have a section of the podcast that is called the rapid fire questions. So where I ask you a bunch of random questions. Some of them we talked about, but are you ready for this segment?
Okay.
What is your best marketing strategy?
Well, I've talked about the pop buys, the cards and the phone calls. That's one of my strong ones. Regularly communicating with them on whether it be statistical information or important local information. Meeting with them on a non-confrontational basis. I'm not coming here to ask you to list your house or sell your house, whatever. I'm just coming to say hi. And they like that one. They really do. Now, there's a key thing that you have to learn. I learned this through Buffini and Company. There's a pop buy and there's a plop buy. And you don't want to get into too much into the plot buy. You want it short, sweet, great to see you. Oh, by the way, here's a little gift for you. What else is coming up in your life right now? What's exciting for you? What people's favorite topic is themselves. So if you let them talk about themselves and you remember it and then you refer back to it, they love that. You want to just touch. My father was a master of, so was my father-in-law, retaining information when they asked questions of someone, a friend, a relative, a guest. Persons told them things about themselves, in a lot of cases, personal information. Months later, whether it be my father or my father-in-law, on their phone, face-to-face, oh, by the way, how has that worked out for you so far? We talked about, last spring. Wicked. I watched my father-in-law, and I thought, wow, that's powerful.
So that's kind of like using a CRM, but he was all in his brain. They were both all in their brain with it.
Speaking of CRMs, at the coffee talk where I talked about how we used to do real estate back in the 70s and 80s, I bought a shoebox and I bought some recipe index cards and I made 3 tabs. And I put in the first series of the tabs, so there's 1 section, 2 sections, 3rd section. So I had index cards, index cards, index cards. Call, write, visit.
Okay.
It was the very original CRM.
That's your system, your procedure you put in place.
So you get to know, oh, they had a new child. What's the child's name? You write it on the index card. What was the date of birth? You write it in the index card. Oh, their son's just started in hockey. Oh, which team's he on? You write it on your index card. Have your warm and cuddlies to talk to them about.
That's it. That's amazing. That's so great.
But at the coffee talk, the people were looking at me like, Peter, that's a shoebox. And I say, yeah, but you know what? It's really easy to learn. It's not like some of today's apps. We have to study them forever. This is very basic. And
yeah,
it works.
It works. Like, you know what they say? The best CRM is the one you're actually going to use. So whether it's a shoebox, an Excel sheet, or an app.
I'll show you something. This is a binder that I've had. This one happens to be from 1983. And in this binder, there's all the individual alphabetized tabs. And inside each one, every page was a client.
Okay.
These were the index cards. This was in the binder. And I looked back and I found my one from 1983 and how many of the people that were in there are still in the home I sold them.
That's amazing.
It's great for them. I think I sell them too well.
They have their dream home for life. So I guess, now it's like to continue nurturing those. And when they're ready and then their children are ready, you get those into your business.
That's right. That's the key. Contact.
So one of the questions is, how do you win more listings? So how do you? Referrals?
Referrals are the strongest point. I'm not a door knocking agent. I personally do not like it when people come to my front door. So I'm not wanting to put someone else in that position by going to their front door. So therefore I was going back to relational as opposed to transactional. If I'm visiting with one of my past clients, I don't know if you're thinking of moving now, and I'm not asking if you are, but if you know of someone who might be moving, all I ask is you think about me.
Nice.
Right? So you've planted a seed.
Yeah.
You maybe have to reconnect with it again later on.
Water the seed with phone calls, emails.
So that became my strongest source, and that will result in either buyers or sellers, or buyers and sellers. I recall one situation where I'd sold a couple of home in Mississauga, and about 5-6 years later, I get a telephone call from them saying, Peter, would you please come up? We want to list the home. We're getting divorced. So you're going to have 3 sales. I'm on my way. Fortunately, it was an amicable breakup. So there wasn't a lot of tension. It was just, let's get it done. Now, of that situation, I subsequently represented one of them again, but I lost with the other one because she ended up marrying a realtor.
Of course. Throughout your 48 years, I guess, in real estate, what's the best advice you ever received?
We've already talked about it. It's contact. I know a lot of agents who become secret agents, and they don't maintain contact, so therefore they are forgotten. And then they wonder why they're not doing as much business anymore, because they're not known to be there.
The reminders. You are a realtor, you are a business, you are there to serve them.
Yeah, and you will hear some people saying, I love real estate because I love people. That's true, but I think you love real estate because you are helping people. You create bonds. I would suggest that through the testimonials that I've received over the years, one theme that seems to go through all of them is we now have a friend.
Nice. Yeah. It's the bond you created with this person. Now you've been in their home, you help them through their new home, so you're their friend. Love it. Everyone has their own definition of success. What is your definition of success? How do you define it?
Making the transaction as seamless as possible. Taking care of all of the necessary details, not just showing them a house and preparing an offer and then saying, I'll see you on closing date, but taking care of what the lawyer they use, the home inspector they use, any recommendations for improvements to be made to the home. You build your list of all your contractors that you can, and you let them know who they are.
So the more you're being there, the more you're there for them, that's how you be successful. That's how you define your success. How many people have you helped the experience of being with you?
Yes.
Nice. Very cool. So where do we find you? Where do we find those videos that are going to be coming up in terms of your new marketing soon? Where are you on which platform?
I wanted to ask you about that. I mean, I have my Facebook personal, my Facebook business. My Facebook personal has far, far more followers than the business one. I'm going to put them on both platforms there. I also think Instagram is a good one to use. And I've been really paying a lot of attention to LinkedIn for the past few months. They, in my opinion, each one has a different tone or different way of broadcasting information. So I'll need to learn from you how to make it that way.
Yeah, that's exciting. We're gonna work on that with the platform. How do you maximize which platform? People on LinkedIn are looking for certain things, Instagram for different things, and then Facebook also. So yeah, we're gonna work on that together.
I also learned I was listening to a webinar from a social media guru, and he had done a lot of studying of when is the best time to reach someone through social media.
Okay.
And it was determined it was Tuesday afternoon.
That's funny. I was going to say 1 p.m.
If you do it Monday, they just come back to work. If you do it Thursday, they're thinking about Friday, and then they're thinking about the weekend. So he's found that Tuesday is, and especially, you're right, about 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I would say that's the best. In the morning, people are busy. In the afternoon, they're ready to go home. They already start planning. What are we going to eat for dinner? What time do I pick up the children? And what do I do? So 1 o'clock is a very good time. And then I would think, yeah, you're right, with the Tuesday being a great day because a lot of people get a little bit humpy on Wednesday, a little bit down. So reaching out to them on a day that they might be a little bit more down is not ideal. Thursday, Friday, gone for the weekend. Monday, busy, back from the weekend. It's funny, huh?
Royal LePage brought in a company from San Diego, California called KV Core. KV Core designed our CRM for Royal LePage. And I'm really getting into it now. And one of the things that it enables you to do is send out house anniversary emails by text and email and birthday anniversaries and emails. So I began to do that back in March. And of course, a lot of the birthdays are going to be coming up next year now because I missed some of them.
Yeah, that's fine.
You wouldn't believe the response. Instantaneous, Peter, thank you very much, for thinking of me.
Yeah, that's a really good tactic that we've coached through the sending even a video, a happy birthday video, a happy anniversary video, sending cards, handwritten cards. Yeah.
Yeah, great ideas. Good.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Peter. That was amazing to talk to you. I'm really grateful for your time.
Thanks a lot, Maude. So I am too.
Thank you. In 48 years, we're going to celebrate very soon your 50th year in business.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Sold Right Away. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to your podcast. If you're ready to take your real estate career to the next level, visit us at Sold Right Away for more resources and support. Until next time, keep closing and keep growing.